Today everyone, I am Isaren Sibacolod and I'm assigned to present the two curriculum development under the dynamic models, which are the skill-based curriculum development model and the SNEER's artistic approach to curriculum development. First, we will discuss the skill-based curriculum development model. This model is a school-based approach to curriculum development. It was first developed in Australia in 1976, and it focuses on the idea that curriculum should not be fixed or centralized only by authorities. Instead, it should be developed and improved by school based on their own context. So, this model also represents a dynamic view of curriculum development. It's because it is a continuous, flexible, and open for change. And it is also includes a situational analysis that emphasizes the influence by the school environment, the community and society, as well as for the needs and characteristics of the learners. Here is the Scalbeck's curriculum development model. So first, we have the situational analysis, which is the most important skill. It's because the school analyzed their current situation to understand what learners and the community need. So it includes gathering of information about the students' abilities, kung ano ba yung interest nila, yung kanilang background, and it also includes the teacher's competencies. So this refers sa knowledge, sa skills, and abilities ng isang guro. It includes of how well the teachers can teach, manage the classroom, paggamit ng teaching strategies, and pag-integrate ng technology. So the curriculum should also match what teachers can effectively teach and where they need training. As well as it includes the school facilities and resources. So, ito yung mga physical and material resources ng isang paaralan. For example, yung mga classrooms, laboratories, libraries, computers, and teaching materials, if enough ba ito. So, yung curriculum, it should be realistic based on what resources the school actually has. And lastly, yung community expectations and societal demands. So it refers to what parents, community members, employers, and society expect students to learn. So for example, yung skills for jobs, values, citizenship, and technology skills. So the curriculum should prepare students to meet kung ano ba yung pangangailangan ng realidad and yung mga societal challenges. Next step is yung goal formulation. So, after natin pag-understand ng isang situation, so yung paralan should set goals and objectives. So, these goals describe what students should learn and achieve, for example, sa academic knowledge, sa skills and competencies, sa values and attitudes. So, yung goals, it should be clear, realistic, and aligned kung ano ba yung pangangailangan ng estudyante and as well as ng societal demands. And the next step is yung program building. So, sa step na ito, the teachers and curriculum planners design the curriculum program. So, it includes sa pagpili ng content or topics na ilalagay, choosing the teaching strategies and methods, kung ano ba yung dapat, planning the learning activities na dapat mag-match, as well as yung pag-prepare ng materials and resources. So, the goal for this is to translate objectives into actual classroom experiences. The next step is the interpretation and formulation. So, sa stage na ito, ina-analyze yung results ng pag-implement ng curriculum. And ginagamit yung findings na ito para mas ma-improve pa yung curriculum. So, in-interpret ng schools yung assessment result, yung feedback from the teachers and the students, the new educational trends or government policies. So, base sa information na ito, so, nire-revise yung curriculum or nire-refine para mas maging effective pa. Kaya, this makes Scalbeck's model cyclic and continuous kasi yung curriculum development, it is a ongoing process and hindi ito ginagawa ng pang-isahan lang. Last step is the monitoring, feedback, assessments, and recommendation. So, sa stage na ito, it focuses sa implementation and evaluation. So, dito, ang schools, minomonitor nila yung paano ba tinuturo yung curriculum. As well as sa feedback, kinukulak nila yung feedback galing sa teachers and sa students. And ina-assess nila yung learning outcomes ng mga estudyante. And ina-identify din nila yung problems or gaps, kaya nagkakaroon ng recommendation para sa findings na ito, mas magkaroon pa ng improvement sa curriculum. So here is the importance of Scalbeck's curriculum development model. So first, the teacher and schools are involved in planning the curriculum, which it reflects their classroom needs and experiences. So second is it promotes flexibility and responsiveness. So the curriculum can be adjusted based on changes in student, society, and educational trends. Kaya nga, kinukolek yung data from them. Third one is it ensures curriculum matches learners and community needs. So this model considers the students' characteristics as well as the community expectation, making the learning relevant and practical sa realidad. Lastly, it emphasizes the continuous improvement. So, yung curriculum, it is a regularly evaluated para mas ma-revise rather to improve the teaching and the learning outcomes for the students. Let's now proceed to our second curriculum development, which is the Isnier's artistic approach. So, the real name of Isniers is Elliot W. Isnier. So, he was a famous curriculum scholar. So, in 1976, Isnier introduced the artistic model in his book, The Educational Imagination, where he presented his idea kung paano ba ginagawa yung curriculum development. And sa kanyang book also, Isnier outlined kung paano yung artistic approach ginagamit sa curriculum development. So, unlike sa mga technical or scientific models, si Isnir believed that yung curriculum development is an artistic and creative process. Just like kung paano yung artist mag-design sa kanyang art. And he also emphasized na yung teaching is not just about technical but it also consists of creativity, intuitive. Isnier's artistic model of curriculum development have 7 components. So now let's delve in sa kanila isa-isa. So first, we have the goals and their priorities. So si Isnier, he argued that not all goals can be clearly measured because some goals are broad, complex, and qualitative. For example, yung creativity, yung critical thinking, yung appreciation of art and culture. So, hindi siya clearly mami-measure. That's why teachers must prioritize which goals are most important. The second one is the content of curriculum. So, it refers kung ano ba yung mga topics, concepts, and skills na ituturo sa mga estudyante. So, dito in-emphasize na yung curriculum planners and yung teacher is dapat careful sila sa pagpili ng content and i-consider din nila yung iba't ibang options para mas maging meaningful and relevant sa estudyante. And they also emphasize about the null curriculum. Ito yung mga dapat hindi ituro. So in short, yung curriculum content dapat careful itong pinipili. And dapat yung mga educators is maging aware sila sa null curriculum, which is yung mga hindi dapat ituro kasi nakaka-apekto ito sa learning ng estudyante. The third one is yung types of learning opportunities. So this means designing learning activities that make content meaningful sa isang estudyante. So for example, lang dito is yung mga experiments, projects, discussions, and field work. Kasi yung belief rather ni Isnier is dapat yung learning ng mga estudyante is should be engaging and significant to students' life. Iba kasi pag yung estudyante is hands-on sa kanilang ginagawa. So, mas marirelate nila or mas ma-apply nila ito sa real-world situation. The fourth one is yung organization of learning opportunities. So, si Sneer, in-emphasize niya yung non-linear approach. So, this means yung lessons is not always need to follow the fixed step-by-step order. So, instead, yung students dapat mas maka-explore sila sa different ways, nakadepende sa kanilang interests, sa abilities nila, or sa kanilang learning styles. So, dito nagkakaroon ng flexibility. So, yung students may achieve different learning outcomes, but ano pa rin ito, meaningful and valuable pa rin sa kanila. So, in short, yung learning ng estudyante should be flexible and dapat i-allow din yung mga students to discover and mas makonstruct pa yung knowledge nila on their own ways. And next, we have the fifth one, which is the organization of content areas. So, dito naman, it promoted the curricular integration. So, meaning yung subjects is dapat connected sila. So, for example, yung science, dapat ma-integrate din ito sa may math, technology, or arts. So, yung isang subject dapat mas ma-integrate pa sa iba't ibang subjects. Next is yung mode of presentation and mode of response. So, dito, it refers kung paano pinipresent ng teachers yung content as well as kung paano nagre-respond yung estudyante. So, for example, sa pag-present ng teacher is yung mode of presentation niya is yung pagla-lecture, paggamit ng multimedia, so, pagkaroon ng demonstration. So, dito, yung mode of response naman is, ang gagawin ng mga estudyante is magkakaroon sila ng essays, projects, performances, or portfolios. So, dito is yung kanilang assessment. So, si Isner kasi, he supported multiple forms of communication and expression. So, lastly, dito na tayo sa types of evaluation procedure. So, dito, Isner believe that yung evaluation should be comprehensive and varied. Hindi lang dapat siya written test. So, for example, dapat nagkakaroon tayo ng iba't ibang assessment. For example, pagkakaroon ng performance task, pagkakaroon ng portfolios, yung observation, as well as yung self-assessment. So, in this way, mas nare-recognize yung different talents and learning styles ng estudyante. So, nabibigyan ng equal opportunity yung bawat learning style ng isang estudyante. Conclude, para mas maintindihan or mas matatak pa sa ating mga isipan. So, in summary, yung pagkakaiba nila, yung nature ni Skellbeck model is mas technical and systematic siya. While kay Isner naman, kay more on artistic and creative. While yung focus ni Skellbeck model is for school-based curriculum planning, while yung kay Isner naman is for creative curriculum design. And yung goal ni Skellbeck model is to clearly define the objectives, while yung kay Isner naman is mas broad and qualitative yung objectives. So, evaluation naman, yung kay Skellbeck model is more on monitoring and feedback, while yung kay Isner naman is diverse yung assessment ng methods niya. While the key feature of Skellbeck model is the situational analysis and continuous evaluation, while yung kay Isner naman is multiple learning experiences and mas expressive ang outcomes kasi nga mas more on creative yung kay Isner. So, that's conclude my presentation. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.